Hi, I'm Jim Pollino, and I'm going to be reading to you today Chapter 3 of For Love of Billie by Patricia Vido. When Billie rounded a curve and spotted Brewers, she squealed, "Ice cream, let's stop." I expected Dad to say, "No, it's custard," and tell Billie how egg yolk made Brewers treats richer, denser, and creamier than ice cream. But he didn't correct her the way he'd corrected me as a kid. She made the sharp left turn and her car bounced in the ruts of the dirt and gravel parking lot. At small screen windows on either side of the squat whitewashed cement block stand, we ordered and then picked up our cones, 3 tall twists of chocolate and vanilla custard. While we ate, sitting in a row on the picnic tabletop, the sun went into hiding and the air held its breath. Then, as the wind picked up, leaves quivered and curled, exposing their pale undersides, a sure sign of impending rain. When Billie finished her cone and jogged into the adjacent field, calling me to follow, I hesitated, but just for a second. Her summons seemed innocent enough. She was acting like a kid herself, raising her arms and dropping them like she was conducting a band or an orchestra, and as though on her cue, thunder rumbled. I imitated her movements until threatening indigo clouds clumped together and sagged from the sky. Was Billie conjuring a storm? Until then, I'd assumed Dad was teasing when he warned me about imps or pixies disguised as beautiful women. They unleash terrible trouble in the lives of men, Finn. And because of their power, resistance is futile. A lightning bolt flashed and more thunder rolled. Trees rocked, fanning the sky with their branches. "Let's get in the car," Dad called, worry in his raised voice. I ran to him, but when I looked back, Billie was still twirling in the field. Shouting her name, Dad ran to her. He grabbed her hand, pulled her back to the car, and told her to drive to the far end of the parking lot. "We've got to get away from these trees," he said. Scooting across the back seat from one window to the other, I thrilled at the intensifying fury outside. As Billie parked and turned off the engine, big scattered drops of rain thudded the roof and hood of her car. More thunder boomed on the heels of another lightning flash, and she and I both jumped. "Don't worry, it'll be okay," Dad said, but it wasn't. Like the spray and rotating brushes in the car wash, rain lashed the front and sides of Billie's car, obscuring our view. The wind roared, raising the hairs on the back of my neck. Then, like the time Mom's car hit a patch of black ice and did a donut, a powerful wind gust slammed Billie's car and shoved it, juddered it. We all yelled, and I grabbed Dad around his neck. He braced himself with his right hand on the dash, and Billie grabbed his left. She looked scared, so maybe she hadn't whipped up the storm after all, or maybe she was sorry she had. We all held on until the car stopped shaking. "Whew, boy, that was something, huh?" Dad said. "It's all over now, though. Nothing to worry about. Everybody all right?" With a He tried to make light of the situation, but his wordiness gave him away. Dad talked even more than usual when events made him twitchy. When the rain stopped and the sky lightened, we got out of the car. Muddy water churned in the swollen creek alongside the custard stand. Severed tree limbs littered the ground. Ripped from the top of the building, the big neon cone sign was stuck upside down a few yards away, its curlicued peak buried in mud. At the sight of a huge uprooted oak lying on its side, I shuddered and Billie gasped. We exchanged our last look of the day, that sober combination of horror and relief survivors share. No, it was more than that. I owed her my life. If she hadn't moved her car, that tree would have flattened us. Never mind that it was Dad who told her to move it. "We better get going," Dad said. I could tell he was shaken too, because he didn't take time to school Billie about the smell the squall had left behind, The clean air, wet earth scent of rain mixed with ozone, geosmin, and plant oils, petrichor. As she drove, Billie swerved to avoid big branches on the road. Around a bend, a fallen tree about 2 feet in diameter blocked our path, and Dad talked Billie through a detour back onto our route. Amid down wires, scattered shingles, and siding stripped from houses, clusters of people stared into the distance, as though they weren't ready to take in the damage right in front of them. Dad voiced their shock and his own voice when he said, "I've never seen anything like this." "Was it a tornado?" Billie asked. "Too late in the season," Dad said. "Wind shear, more likely. Christ." I leaned around Dad and gaped through the windshield at the wide ribbon of destruction that made him curse. Stripped of their leaves, bare trees on the hillside bent at their waists as though trying to hide their shame. The scene stunned us into silence. When Billie dropped us off at the paper, Dad said goodbye through the passenger window, and when she reached out, he did too. I expected them to shake, pumping once or twice before letting go, but they held on, their clasped hands like two puzzle pieces fitted together and pressed into place. I was standing right beside him, but I may as well have been invisible. Even if I'd been taller, I doubt Billie would have seen me. Her eyes were locked on Dad's until we were through his hand and said, "Be careful going home." As she drove away, I wasn't worried anymore that there might be something wrong with it. I just wanted to stay in the picture. And Dad didn't have to say, "Don't tell." I wouldn't bother Mom about Billie.